right, let's get started. First question will be from Michelle Kaufman of the Miami Herald. Michelle, you are off mute.
Okay. Hello, this question is for Luis. Luis, can you just talk about your overall feelings about the game? Getting the league started again, the emotional ceremony before the game, and finally, just how the mood kind of changed on your team with the injury to Andres. Kind of summarize the night, I guess.
Hey, Michelle. I, I'll start by saying that the guys in the locker room, they're gutted. They're absolutely gutted. The way that tonight went, when you think about how it started, it was a beautiful ceremony with a very powerful message. And for the Black Players Coalition to organize and coordinate the way that they did, they should be very, very proud of what they did. And to be able to gather all the players that that were on the field today, I think is an incredible feat. But more than anything, to use their platform to be an agent of change is very important. And it's something that, as an athlete, you really have to consider. When you look at the position that we have to influence our community, our nation, and the fans of this league, to be able to do something like that is a very, very positive and powerful thing. And I'm glad that and very honored to be even on the field sharing that moment with those guys. And as we transition to the game, I felt like in the first half, you could see both teams have been away from competitive play for a while, but nonetheless, it was a competitive match. And then for us to start the second half that we did with some great combination play that culminated in a goal with Juan, I think put us in a great position to win this game. And yet the reason why the guys are so gutted is because when you look at our results thus far, we've played 3 games, matches that we've all been in, and yet for whatever reason it hasn't gone our way. And sometimes that's how it is. Those are the circumstances of the game. But what's really frustrating about tonight's match is that I feel like it was avoidable. In the first half, I've played against Dom for years, and he's a very talented forward, and I understand his game. I have a lot of respect for his game, and he scored many a goal on me. But I also know that he's a very physical forward. And if the referee is going to give them if he's going to give him the type of margin, the type of rope to play that way, then he's going to be very impactful. And yet you could see in the first half, there were several moments where I felt that the fouls were very, very hard coming in from behind. And yet he continued to say that they were soft fouls. He continued to say that they weren't strong, that they weren't necessarily even a foul. And yet everyone on the field could see it. So then for it to go the way that it did in the second half, it had a massive impact. A massive impact on the rest of the game. Because our defensive unit is already thin as is. And for us to lose a guy like Andres, who's in the middle of the park, who's having a great game, it completely changed the entire complexion of the game. And I don't even blame Dom. I mean, that's just the way he plays. And like I said, I respect the way he plays. And this is why he's been so successful. But then the worst part is that the referee tells me that it was our own guy. So then it shows me I'm just completely confused at what he's watching. Because when he watched the play, it's just him and Andres. So I'm just going to point to that play because in the end, it completely changed the match, which leaves us a bit sour. And of course, now we have to regroup because there's 2 more games coming up in the group stage. And we lost one of our best defenders. So again, it's not. I don't even put that on Dom. I put that on the ref. It's a very, very poor officiating from him today.
Thank you, Luis. The question was also for Juan. If you can please summarize this evening, what you were feeling and what's going through the team's mind.
Yeah, to start off, it was very emotional at the beginning. It was beautiful to see, all the players come together on the field like that as one. Being on the field, I could tell you, was very powerful to, put my fist up and to be there with so many people that are trying to make a change in this country, and that's what we need to do. Is not even for us, but for our kids, to kind of evolve as humans. So that was a special part. I kind of want that to highlight most of the day, but again, I'll speak about the game. I thought the first half, like Luis said, we were both teams were trying to figure out their style and trying to get comfortable in the game. Nobody really settled in. I think in the second half there was a better combination plays by both teams, and luckily we were able to come up with a goal with a great combination by our team. After that, I felt like both teams were playing their soccer, but it hurts. Everybody's, pretty sad right now, to be honest. To be up 1-0, to understand how hard we've worked to be up 1-0, and to give up a goal in stoppage time. I mean, it's tough to come in and do a press conference after that.
Thank you, Han. Appreciate both of your responses. The next question will be from Kobe Price of the Sun Sentinel. Then we will go to Jonathan Tannewald, Franco, and Katya, and we will end the press conference with that. Kobe, you are off mute.
Thanks, Jackie. Luis, as the captain of the team and a veteran, what do you tell the guys after a game like that, especially with how it went?
I thought long and hard about what I can say to the guys, and I'll say in the moment there's really nothing you can say. When you get into the locker room, you just have to soak it up at that moment. But as we regroup tonight and tomorrow morning, we're going to have to simply look at how we can overcome some of these circumstances. When you look at the DC game, in one sequence, we go from being up 2-0 to actually being down a man, which then again, it changed the game. But I think this is why this organization invested in veterans like ourselves, is because we already know as an expansion team it's going to be a difficult year. And in that, sometimes it has nothing to do with just simply who you're playing against. It's just the way the games go sometimes. And the only way that we're going to be able to do it is sticking together, believing in what we're building here, maintain a great spirit, because we have an incredible locker room. The chemistry in the locker room is phenomenal, and I believe it's on that foundation that we can change this, that we can start getting points, that we can start getting wins, and that this season is something that we can look to and know that it's the fortitude that comes from within that locker room that's going to be able to change the tide.
Jonathan, you're off mute.
Thanks, Jackie. Luis, the question is for Luis, but Juan is welcome to answer it too if he'd like, since you've both been in this league for quite a while. Luis, can you mentioned the pregame demonstration of solidarity and all that, and can you recall a moment quite like that where the players of the league have really stood together and made such a strong statement like that, and what it means to you?
No, there's not too many things that I could put up against that. When you consider what's going in our country right now, for that group of players to unite and present themselves in such solidarity with such a powerful message, I wouldn't put that up against too many things. So, like I said, I'm just really glad that I got to witness it, to be a part of it, and it's a beautiful message.
Katya, you're on the line.
Hi, this question is for Luis. Luis, you mentioned the DC United game and the same thing that you guys were ahead and then ended up losing the game. We saw a very frustrated Diego Alonso, and I know you guys are feeling that way as well. What would you say in that learning curve that you guys can take from this to still move forward, as you said, like as a team for the following games?
I mean, as I just previously stated, for us to be able to climb out of this, we have to do it together, one game at a time, one training session at a time. It was really exciting. It was really exciting to be back on the field. And when we examine this past week, since we've been here in Orlando, the trainings have been great. It's great to have Juan back on the field. I know that as the season started back in March, he was dealing with some injuries, and yet since he's been back on the field for us, it's really given us a great advantage going forward. So you could see that in his goal today. And so we're going to take a lot of positives from this match, and as we examine it and evaluate the game, we'll figure out how we can continue to be better, because that's what we have to do, is we have to improve each and every week with each coming game. And I mean, there's a part of me that apologizes for my frustration for that moment, but I think as I look at it as a leader, the last thing I want to do is start making excuses. I think within our group, within our locker room, we have to find answers, and we're not going to make excuses. We're just going to deal with what's thrown our way, and I'm very confident within this group that we have a lot of character, a lot of talent, to find a way to start getting wins.
Thank you, Luis.
Gracias. Sí, podía hacer nada más una pregunta, pero en español para Juan, si la podía responder en español sobre el aprendizaje que deja, que sé que es un momento muy frustrante porque previo al parón por la pandemia habíamos visto algo similar que ahora él logra anotar y terminan con la derrota.
Sí, hace tiempo que hemos podido jugar el deporte que amamos todos, entonces muchos jugadores yo sabía que estaban muy emocionados para entrar a la cancha y para competir. Lástima que no pudimos ganar hoy, pero pienso que hay muchas cosas positivas que hay que coger de este partido, pero también ya es tiempo de ganar.
I'm going to go ahead and cut this press conference short because the full team is waiting for our two players. So thank you, Luis. Thank you, Juan, for joining us today. Muchas gracias a toda la prensa que está aquí con nosotros. Vamos a tener que cortar porque el equipo entero está esperando hasta que los muchachos lleguen de regreso. Perdón y muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros. Thank you.
Thank you guys.